Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered why you feel older than your age says you should? Maybe the joints are stiffer, the morning's a bit slower, or you notice the energy to do simple things just doesn't come as easily anymore. But here's a shocking truth most people don't talk about. You have far more control over how you age than you think. There's a man, 94 years old, who lives entirely alone, cooks for himself, tends his own little vegetable patch, and even reads without glasses. His secret? It's not expensive supplements or fancy gym memberships. It all starts with 5 simple morning habits that he swears have kept him healthier than people half his age. And the best part is, you can start them today, right now, from where you are, no matter your health or fitness level. These aren't just habits, they're lifelines. Let's start with something deceptively simple, yet wildly underestimated. He never touches his phone for at least 90 minutes after waking up. Strange, right? But there's a powerful reason behind it. Most of us wake up and immediately flood our brains with news, messages, notifications, none of which give us peace or clarity. That morning cortisol spike, your body's natural wake-up hormone, gets hijacked by stress. He explained it like this. The moment you give your attention to someone else's chaos before you've had time to center yourself, you give away your health inch by inch. Instead, he spends the first hour of his day in silence. No TV, no radio, just him, the sound of birds outside, and the light slowly creeping through his curtains. It's during this time he does a practice called mind anchoring. And no, it's not some mystical nonsense. It's actually a combination of 3 things: breathing, gratitude, and gentle stretching. While sitting at the edge of his bed, feet flat on the floor, he takes 5 deep breaths, slow and steady, counting to 5 with each inhale and each exhale. Then he says aloud 3 things he's grateful for. Some days it's simple. I woke up. I have tea. My knees still work. That's it. This habit resets the nervous system. It signals to the brain, you are safe, you are grounded, and today has potential. There's a hidden genius in this routine. Gratitude alone has been shown in numerous studies, from Harvard to UCLA, to lower inflammation, reduce anxiety, and even improve sleep. And when you do it before you let in the noise of the world, your whole day changes. Now, here's where it gets even more fascinating. His second habit? He eats breakfast like it's medicine. You might assume at his age he goes for something soft and light like oatmeal or toast, but no, he starts every day with a breakfast that includes protein, fat, and something bitter. Yes, bitter. This includes things like arugula, radishes, or even a small slice of lemon rind. Why? Because bitter foods trigger your digestive fire. They wake up the liver, nudge the gallbladder into motion, and get your system ready to absorb nutrients. Think about it. If you've ever felt bloated, sluggish, or just weird after eating, your digestion might be asleep. Bitter flavors are nature's alarm clock for your gut. And then there's the protein. At 94, he eats 2 eggs every single morning, sometimes boiled, sometimes gently fried in a touch of olive oil. Not only does this give him lasting energy, but it helps maintain his muscle mass, which he says is the real key to staying independent. He's not wrong. After 60, the average person loses 1 to 2% of their muscle every year unless they fight back. And protein is your weapon. Add a slice of avocado or a spoonful of full-fat yogurt, and you've got a breakfast that keeps blood sugar stable, energy consistent, and cravings under control. It's a meal that works with your body, not against it. Here's what he told me once, smiling. I eat breakfast like I'm preparing to climb a mountain, not sit in a chair. That mindset alone is half the secret. Because how you start, your day sends a message to every cell in your body. Either you're preparing for life, or you're slowly surrendering to it. And he's never been one to surrender. Now let's talk about something you might be skipping, and it's costing you more than you realize. Before he even takes his first sip of coffee or tea, he drinks a glass of warm water with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. Nothing fancy, just a basic hydration reset. After sleeping all night, your body is naturally dehydrated, and dehydration in older adults is a silent energy thief. It shows up as brain fog, dizziness, joint pain, and even anxiety. Just that one. Glass, lukewarm, not cold, wakes up the kidneys, helps your body flush out toxins from the night before, and lubricates your entire system. He jokes, "I don't drink water because I'm thirsty. I drink it because I want to stay alive." Again, not wrong. Seniors often lose their sense of thirst, which is why so many end up with issues that seem mysterious but are simply rooted in not drinking enough. And the lemon? It gently stimulates the liver and gives a touch of vitamin C to support immunity. The sea salt? A trace mineral boost and an electrolyte top-up that your body quietly thanks you for. This isn't about turning your kitchen into a lab or following some viral trend. It's about honoring the body's natural rhythms, giving it what it needs before it has to scream for help. These habits might seem small, but they carry a kind of quiet power. You start the day on your own terms. You hydrate with purpose. You eat not to fill time, but to fuel life. And you pause long enough to remember that simply waking up is a gift, not a given. So what happens next when you build a morning like this, brick by brick, day after day? That's where it gets even more powerful. Because when your morning starts with clarity, fuel, and motion, your entire day rises to meet you. And here's where the momentum really begins to build. You've already primed your body with hydration, nourished it with a breakfast that respects your age and strength, and grounded your mind before the world tries to pull you in 100 directions. Now comes the habit that most people laugh off, until they try it and realize their energy shoots up, their stiffness fades, and even their mood becomes lighter without a single pill. This 94-year-old gentleman, living fully alone and thriving, never skips it. After breakfast, he goes outside. Every morning, rain or shine, he gets fresh air and morning sun on his skin for at least 15 minutes. It's not just a walk. It's what he calls sun-soaking. He rolls up his sleeves, sometimes even removes his shoes if the grass isn't too wet, and simply stands or walks slowly while letting the light hit his arms, face, and neck. You might think it's just a quaint ritual, but don't be fooled. This one act holds a shocking amount of scientific power. Early sunlight, especially within the first hour or two of waking, tells your internal clock, your circadian rhythm, that it's daytime. That one cue helps regulate your hormones for the entire day. Melatonin, your sleep hormone, gets suppressed at the right time. Cortisol, your alertness hormone, gets released in just the right dose. It helps you feel more awake in the morning and sleep deeper at night. That's not wishful thinking. Research from the University of Colorado and Stanford has shown that seniors exposed to natural morning light sleep better, have better moods, and even reduce their risk of depression. And the vitamin D you get from the sun, it's not just about bones. It supports immune health, brain function, and protects against inflammation, one of the hidden drivers behind everything from joint pain to heart disease. But he doesn't just walk around like a robot. He makes this his moment of connection with nature, with his own body, and sometimes with neighbors who pass by. He waves. He smiles. He says good morning. That tiny dose of social interaction is another kind of vitamin, one most people don't even realize they're missing. Especially after retirement, isolation can quietly shrink your world. But stepping outside each morning reaffirms something. You're still part of the living, breathing world. You still belong here. He told me, once, if I stay inside too long, my spirit starts to close in. The sky reminds me that I still have room to grow. What a way to start the day. And speaking of motion, let's talk about something that makes people over 60 nervous: exercise. But not the way you think. This man doesn't go to the gym. He doesn't do push-ups or run. His fourth habit is something far more sustainable and secretly powerful. He moves with intention for exactly 7 minutes. No more, no less, right after his morning sun soak. Why 7? Because it's long enough to get the blood flowing, the joints moving, and the muscles awake. But short, enough to not feel like a burden. He does a gentle sequence of movements he's refined over the years. A little marching in place, a few slow arm circles, shoulder rolls, ankle flexes. And then, his favorite, what he calls the old tree sway. He plants his feet, stretches, his arms out like branches, and slowly sways left and right. It looks funny, he knows it, but he doesn't care. Because what he's doing is lubricating his spine, opening up his rib cage for better breathing, and reminding every muscle that it still has purpose. This little routine has helped him avoid the creeping stiffness and weakness that traps so many older adults. And there's a hidden psychological benefit, too. By keeping it short and achievable, he wins every morning. He starts the day with a victory, no guilt, no skipped workouts. Just consistent, joyful movement that honors what his body can do, not what it can't. And science backs him up once again. Studies have shown that just 5 to 10 minutes of morning movement improves joint mobility, boosts circulation, and even enhances mental clarity for hours. Think about that. Just a few minutes, and you're setting yourself up for a sharper, smoother, more energized day. And if you're worried that it's too late or too hard, remember this. He started doing this when he was 78. Before that, he said he felt old. After that, he said he began to feel alive. The lesson? It's never too late to begin again. Now, as the body warms and the breath steadies, he settles into his 5th morning habit, one that might surprise you. Before he begins any tasks, errands, or chores, he sits down with a small, well-worn notebook. Not to journal about his feelings, not to plan his day, but to ask himself one single question. What can I do today that gives me joy? That's it. Just one small thing. Some days it's watering the tomatoes. Other days it's calling his niece or listening to his favorite jazz record. Once, he told me, it was simply watching a squirrel eat a piece of bread. Joy isn't something he waits for. He creates it, every morning. And the reason is powerful. Joy keeps you young. It activates the brain's reward center, releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine, and gives you a sense of purpose. Without joy, even the healthiest body feels empty. With it, even a tired body feels full of life. And this is what makes his morning routine more than just a checklist. It's a celebration, a declaration, a quiet but steady refusal to let age define what's possible. Because in a world that keeps telling older people to slow down, he's proof that you can wake up every day and rise. No matter your age, no matter your aches, no matter how much time has passed, every sunrise gives you a new chance to take your health into your own hands, one gentle, powerful habit at a time. And if you're still with me now, it means something inside you knows, deep down, that age is not the enemy. Neglect is. Giving up on yourself too early is. But the beautiful truth is, it's never too late to reclaim the energy, clarity, and peace that your body is still willing to give, if you just ask it in the right way. This 94-year-old man, living alone with more vitality than people half his age, doesn't have a secret potion. He has consistency, intention, and a morning routine that speaks life into every cell before the world gets its turn to speak stress. And as he finishes his joy ritual, asking himself that quiet, powerful question, he moves on to something that might surprise you even more. He begins his silence. Every morning, after moving his body and waking his spirit, he carves out 10 full minutes of pure stillness. No phone, no radio, no TV, just quiet. Sometimes he sits on his old wooden porch. Sometimes he lies on the floor and closes his eyes. He doesn't call it meditation. He says, I just sit with myself until I hear something worth listening to. At first, I didn't understand what he meant, but when you try it, even just once, you realize how loud the world is and how rarely we hear our own thoughts clearly. In that silence, He lets the mind untangle itself. Worries that feel sharp at 6 a.m. start to lose their edge. Memories that once felt heavy start to feel like stories instead of weights. You begin to notice the rhythm of your breath, the gentle rise and fall of your chest, and you realize something incredible. You're still alive, and not just biologically, but spiritually. You're still here, you're still present. And the day hasn't claimed you yet. You still belong to yourself. Neuroscience confirms what he's practiced instinctively for decades. Regular silence improves brain function, lowers stress hormones, and even promotes cell repair. It's like a morning tune-up for the soul, and it costs nothing. No tools. No memberships. Just your willingness to sit and listen. What often rises in him during this quiet isn't fear or loneliness, it's clarity. And once he feels centered, he does one last thing before stepping into the day. He gives. Not money, not favors, but something even more powerful. He gives gratitude. He says thank you, not just in his mind, but aloud. Every single morning without fail, he looks up at the ceiling or the sky or the trees and says, "Thank you for this life. Thank you for this body. Thank you for this day." It doesn't matter if his joints hurt. It doesn't matter if the sky is gray or the fridge is a little empty. Gratitude, he says, is like sunlight for the soul. It softens the hard places. It warms what feels cold. It helps him focus on what he has instead of what he's lost. And what's more, it reminds him that he's not just surviving, he's participating in life. Studies from institutions like Harvard and UC Berkeley have shown that daily gratitude practices, especially spoken ones, can improve mood, increase optimism, reduce inflammation, and even help people recover faster from illness. It's no exaggeration to say that what you focus on in the morning can shape your entire immune system. So when he says thank you, it's not just a gesture, it's a prescription. One he writes for himself every single day. And as the morning winds to a close, his body energized, his spirit lifted, his mind quiet, and his heart open, he finally begins his day. Not rushed, not frazzled, not reacting to the world's chaos, but rooted, calm, and clear-eyed. That's the power of these morning habits. They're not just routines, they're declarations, boundaries, lifelines. They remind him, and they can remind you, that your health is not lost with time. It's reclaimed in moments, in choices, in those quiet, consistent practices that no one else sees but that change everything. And here's something he told me once that I'll never forget. I asked him, "What's the biggest difference you feel now compared to when you were younger?" And without skipping a beat, he smiled and said, "Now, I pay attention to what makes me feel alive. I don't wait for special occasions. I make every morning one." That, right there, is the real gift of aging, if you're willing to see it. You get to drop the nonsense, the distractions, the rushing, and come home to yourself. You get to trade urgency for depth. And in that quiet, gentle space each morning, you rediscover not just your strength, but your joy, your clarity, your courage. Because here's the truth, and I want you to really let this sink in. You don't have to do what the world tells you. You don't have to surrender to the lie that aging means fading. You can rise with strength, walk with dignity, and wake up every single day knowing you've chosen to take your life, your energy, your spirit, your future into your own hands. One breath, one stretch, one quiet moment at a time. And as the light spills into his little kitchen and he boils water for his tea, nothing fancy, just warm lemon water or ginger root steeped with honey, he's already done more for his health, his spirit, and his mind than most people do in an entire day. But there's still one more habit, and it's the one that ties everything together. You might expect it to be a specific supplement or a complicated superfood smoothie, but it's far simpler and far more powerful than that. He connects. Every morning, without fail, this 94-year-old man who lives alone finds a way to reach out. Sometimes it's a call to his daughter just to say, "I love you," Sometimes it's a short note mailed to a friend. Sometimes he just walks outside and chats with a neighbor walking their dog. And some days, when there's no one around, he speaks to himself, kindly, warmly, the way you would to someone you love. Because he knows something most of us forget in this noisy, disconnected world. Health doesn't live in the body alone. It breathes in the warmth between people, in shared laughter, in kind words, in the sacred little moments of "I see you" and "I hear you." Loneliness has been called the new smoking, more dangerous to long-term health than obesity or inactivity. It raises inflammation, weakens immunity, and shortens lifespan. But connection, even a few minutes of genuine connection a day, can literally rewire the brain, slow aging, and extend life. He doesn't wait for people to come to him. He initiates warmth. He creates meaning. He plants seeds of joy, not for recognition, but because it fills him. Because when you give to others, especially in those early hours when your mind is soft and your heart is open, you don't lose anything. You grow. And here's the most incredible part. These 5 habits, gentle movement, joyful ritual, sacred silence, spoken gratitude, and daily connection, are not just what keep him alive. They're what keep him awake to life, fully present, fully engaged. While others his age might shrink, their world out of fear, he expands his with curiosity. He doesn't wake up wondering what's wrong with him. He wakes up wondering, what can I create today? What beauty can I notice? What goodness can I add? And that mindset, that way, of seeing the morning not as something to get through, but as a gift to unwrap, that's where true youth lives. Not in your joints, not in your skin, in your spirit. That's why he's not just healthy for his age. He's healthier than people half his age. Because while they chase youth in bottles and screens, he builds it morning by morning through choices anyone can make, but few actually do. And if you're listening to this, maybe something inside you is stirring right now. Maybe you're realizing that your mornings have been hijacked by distractions, or that you've been waking up in survival mode, rushing, worrying, reacting, and maybe, just maybe, you're ready for something softer, more powerful, more yours. Because the truth is, you don't need a complete life overhaul to feel better. You don't need to become someone new. You just need to return to simple things that are already within you. Your breath, your thoughts, your ability to move, your capacity to connect, and yes, your power to choose. Every single day, you get to decide what story your body and mind will follow. Will it be a story of stress, weariness, and disconnection? Or will it be one of strength, purpose, and deep peace? That's not something age decides. That's something you decide. The man we've been talking about isn't special because he's lucky. He's special because he's intentional. And that's what I want for you. Not perfection, not a magic cure. Just the power of intention, one morning at a time. Imagine this. Tomorrow, before your feet even touch the floor, you take one deep breath. You stretch your arms up to the ceiling. You whisper one small thank you. You sip warm tea in quiet. You send a kind word to someone you love. And maybe, just maybe, you realize that you've just planted the first seed of a life that feels rich, full, and alive. That's not a fantasy, that's a choice. And now here you are, standing at the edge of something powerful. Not because you heard about 5 morning habits, but because somewhere deep inside, you've remembered something. Something timeless. Something that doesn't fade with wrinkles, or stiff joints, or the number printed on your last birthday card. You've remembered that your life is still yours. That your mornings aren't just routines. They are declarations. Each one a statement to the world and to yourself. I am still here. I am still becoming. I am still choosing how to live. That's what this 94-year-old man has been modeling all along. Not a checklist, not a self-help plan, a way of being that whispers into the quietest parts of your day and says, "You matter. Your choices matter. And even if no one else sees what you're doing, you will feel it, and your body will thank you." Because what he's really doing every morning is telling his cells how to behave. With every breath, every thought, every movement, he's bathing his nervous system in calm, signaling his brain to focus, flooding his bloodstream with energy-boosting, immunity-strengthening chemistry, not from a pill, but from presence, from ownership, from joy. And maybe that's the part no one talks about enough. That health isn't just about what you avoid, sugar, stress, sedentary habits. It's about what you invite. The awe of watching sunrise light dance on your kitchen wall. The small courage it takes to open your curtains and let the world in. The pride of standing tall, even if your knees crack and your back creaks. The secret smile of realizing that today, yes, today, you get another shot at loving your life. That doesn't mean every day will feel magical. Some mornings will be heavy. Some will be gray. But even on those days, especially on those days, your habits become your anchor. You don't have to feel motivated, you just have to show up. One small ritual, one gentle stretch, one deep breath. That's how change sneaks in. Not with fireworks, but with quiet loyalty. And if you keep showing up, something beautiful begins to happen. Your body starts to respond, your mind clears, your digestion improves, your energy rises. You feel steadier, stronger, and, most shockingly, you feel younger. Not because time reversed, but because you stopped resisting it. That's the secret. The real, hidden fountain of youth isn't outside of you. It's your relationship with the present moment. And no one can steal that from you. Not aging, not loneliness, not fear. You've seen people your age grow bitter, shut down, give up. But you've also seen those rare souls who glow with peace and laughter and sharpness, who don't just survive past 80, 90, even 100, but live, really live, with spark in their eyes and softness in their hearts. And now you know the difference. It's not luck. It's not perfect genes. It's tiny choices. Each day, each dawn. It's choosing to align your mornings with who you want to be, not what the world expects of you. And if you've been feeling like it's too late or too hard or too complicated, please hear this. It's not. Your body may be slower, but it still listens. Your soul may feel tired, but it still burns bright. And your mornings, no matter how many you've already lived, can still become the most sacred part of your day. If you've made it this far with me, I hope you're feeling something stirring, a quiet kind of hope, a belief that maybe, just maybe, there's more for you. Not more to do, but more to be. And it starts right where you are. So tomorrow morning, try this. Wake up slowly. Breathe deeply. Move kindly. Drink something warm. Whisper something true. Reach out. And above all, remember that how you greet the morning becomes how you live the day. You are not here to shrink. You are here to shine, to soften, to stretch, to grow. You may live alone, but you are never alone in this journey. Others, just like you, are finding their way back to themselves, one breath, one sip, one sunrise at a time. And if you felt any part of this speak to you, let it root in your morning tomorrow. Let it echo in your next walk, your next pause, your next laugh, and then pass it on. Because someone else needs this. Maybe it's your friend. Maybe it's your son. Maybe it's a stranger who will hear your words and feel less alone. You don't need to become a guru to change lives. You just need to live your mornings well. That's what he's been doing. That's what you can do. And if no one has told you lately, you're doing better than you think. You're stronger than you feel. And you're more vital than any number can measure. Here's to your next morning. And the one after that, and the quiet revolution you're creating, cup by cup, breath by breath, step by step. It's not just a routine, it's your resurrection. and you've already begun.